In today's video, we have the honor to be with somebody who has been and is a legend actually in the networking area. His name is Ivan Misner. He has found BNI in 1985. So thank you so much for coming, Ivan.
Thank you.
Nice.
My pleasure.
Really great. Thank you. So the first thing I have in my mind is like, what do you think are the first three aspects that come to your mind when you thought about creating BNI? Like, why was that?
Right.
Why was you inspiring about that?
Right. Well, you know, I'd like to tell you that I had this vision of an international organization, and we now have 6,700 groups in 56 countries around the world. I'd like to tell you that, but the truth is I needed some referrals for my consulting practice. I was a business consultant, and I had friends who needed referrals. And we got together to pass each other referrals. And I discovered very quickly that the average business person doesn't really have a clue how to build their business through referrals. And I was young. I thought, you know, I'd learn from them, but they didn't know. What I discovered is that people are hungry for referral marketing, for networking. And someone came who couldn't join, and she asked if I would help her open up another one. And I'll tell you, at first, I said, no, this isn't what I do. I'm a business consultant. But we opened up the second group, and people came to that, and they asked if they could, you know, if I would help them open. And I said, no, this isn't what I do. But it just took off. So it started because I was looking to grow my business and my friend's business. And I was shocked at how people aren't taught this in school. We don't teach networking or word-of-mouth marketing anywhere in the school, and that's really the reason why. It's an example of necessity being the mother of invention. People needed referrals, and this evolved from that.
Wow, that's good. So from there, like, what do you think are the three keys that brought that from this small concept to this huge reality right now? Like, what are the elements that you can say, wow, definitely this and this and this was what explode globally in the planet? What do you say?
First and foremost, culture eats strategy for breakfast. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. A company with a good organizational culture and a marginal strategy can do pretty well. A company with a marginal culture and a really good strategy will fail. A company with a great culture and a great strategy will beat the competition every day of the week. And I think the culture of the organization that I created is a very unique culture. It's predicated on the idea of givers gain. This idea that if I give you business, you'll give me business, and we'll all do better as a result of it. So culture is one. Education is the second. We devote a lot of time to teaching people how to network because we don't teach this in colleges and universities. So we spend a lot of time teaching people and coaching people on how to network effectively. And the third is accountability. Accountability. One of the strengths of a network is that most of the members are friends. One of the weaknesses of a network is that most of the members are friends. Friends don't like to hold friends accountable, and so networks become social. What we have done is we've created a system that has accountability and some rules. You know, so you can't play football without rules. Well, you could play, but then it would be boxing. You have to have rules, and there are rules to the game. So accountability is the third.
That's great. And now that all these years after this success, like, what would you say are like what have you learned, Ivan? Like, would you say, well, I have learned this, I would have done this differently? What would you say are two lessons that you may have learned in all these
We'll give you a positive and a negative one. I'll start with the negative one. I think I would have incorporated technology quicker into my face-to-face network, because I run the world's largest face-to-face networking organization. And we have now incorporated technology into our system through a program called BNI Connect, where we connect our members worldwide on an online social media platform. And if I had to do it over, I'd probably start that earlier. But we're here now, and it's coming along very, very well. We've connected people so that people who go to a local meeting can, in fact, network with people worldwide, 170,000 members worldwide. I'll tell you what I learned positively. Different people, different places, different races, different religions, different countries, different cultures. We all speak the language of referrals. We all want to do business with people we know and trust. It doesn't matter what country. Trust is core for any entrepreneurial business. And it's one of the amazing things that here in Spain, it's about the same thing, building relationships, as it is in the US or the UK or any place that we operate. It's about relationships.
That's good. So now, Ivan, what would be 3 things that you think are crucial building networking, and 3 tips that you can say that are the most important that people need to know?
Well, you know, so like the 3 big secrets to success in networking, well, one of them is there is no secret. It's a formula. There's no 1 or 2 or 3 things. It's really it's like a recipe for a great meal. There's a number of things that you need to do. One of them is to diversify the kinds of networks that you belong to. I think most business people are cave dwellers. They get up in the morning, they're in this large cave with a big screen television, they go out to their garage, get into this little cave with 4 wheels, they drive to this other really big cave with computers, they stay there all day, they can't figure out why no one's referring them. Networking's a contact sport, so you gotta go out and connect with people. The other thing is understanding that networking is more about farming than it is about hunting. It's about cultivating relationships with people, and most people use networking as a face-to-face cold calling opportunity. Hi, my name's Ivan, let's do business. Yeah. And they go and they jump right to doing business or trying to do business, and that doesn't work. It's really about getting to know people. And the other, I think, is that networking is not about trying to close a sale, it's about training a sales force. It's about teaching people how to refer you. And if you can get people, if you can build a relationship where you can get people to refer you, then you're farming, not hunting.
Yeah. Yeah, you're saying like instead of be taking from people, yes, is that you are kind of giving and, yes, and empowering and developing the relationship instead of, yes, talking with a stranger.
Yes, and I think all too often business people, salespeople, entrepreneurs, they want to be interesting instead of interested. It's very important in a networking context to be interested in the other person. It's almost like an interview. It's almost like this. See, an interviewer is a perfect networker because you're asking questions and you're interested and I'm responding. It's the opposite in business. People are constantly trying to sell, rather than ask questions and get to know the other person.
So that would be other tip, no? Like being asking questions instead of being pitching your thing.
Good interviewer.
Well, that's great. Now, when people are networking, like in reality now, like imagine 2 people, they are there, like what do you see that work the best? When they are in the process of building this trust, they are strangers, what advice can you say to them so they can start building the relationship successfully forever? Because I know that your vision is not like a 10 minutes relationship, like you build forever relationships, no? Like lifetime relationships. Yeah. So what could be something that you can suggest?
So I think the most important concept here is a concept that I call the VCP process. VCP, it stands for visibility, credibility, profitability. It's a chronological process. Everyone has to go through it. First, you create visibility. People know who you are and they know what you do. And when you meet someone for the first time, you're just getting to visibility. But then you get to credibility. That's where people know who you are, they know what you do, and they know you're good at it. And only when you get to credibility can you then get to profitability, where people know who you are, they know what you do, they know you're good at it, and they're willing to pass you referrals on an ongoing basis. Where networking goes wrong is where people try to jump over visibility, jump over credibility, and try to get right to profitability, and it doesn't work. And so when you are networking, you have to ask yourself, where am I with this person? Do they know me? Do they trust me? Is there a relationship? If not, I'm at visibility, and you behave differently at visibility than someone you're at profitability with, where you know each other, you trust each other, there's a relationship, it's a whole different conversation. So you have to know where you are in that relationship to determine how to network with them.
Great. That's good, like developing that trust. Mainly trust is a key thing, and I know that you are big with values. Yes. Loyalty and all of that are super important for you.
Loyalty, trust, positive attitude. One of the things that we've discovered, we've done multiple surveys on what's the top 10 characteristics of a good networker, and always one of the top 3 or 4 characteristics in every survey I've done is attitude. People want to do business with positive people. They don't want to do business with negative people.
That's true. That's a good one.
It is. And people don't think about that. You don't think about it when you're talking to someone, but when you ask people when they take a survey, they go, I really like to do business more with people that are positive. Yeah. And sometimes business is tough, I know. And it's hard to always be positive, but think about this. It doesn't do any good to complain to people. because half the people you complain to don't care. The other half are glad you're worse off than they are. So it's, you be positive.
That's great. You have been with your wife for more than 20 years.
25 years, 2 months ago.
It's a long 25th anniversary.
Yeah, we just had our 25th anniversary here in Europe.
That's great. So what would be like 3 things that you have, like you can tell married people that are, personal life, professional life, you are building a business that is huge. Like, what would you say to people who can apply some advice?
So I'm giving marriage advice now.
I mean, it's business and marriage.
Sure.
It's relationships.
Well, it is about relationships. Well, first thing, I would read my friend's book, John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I'd go read that book because I think that's a great book. I think, my wife and I, who happens to be here, we've talked about this, and I think one of the things is giving grace to the other person, giving them grace. I know my wife loves me and supports me, and sometimes we have disagreements. And you have to assume that she really has your best interest in mind, and give grace. Let
good.
Things go.
That's great. Last question, what would you say there are many networking groups, and what would you say that BNI is different? Like, what would you say that are the differences, the main points that make you guys?
Well, from looking at it from the outside, the biggest difference is that we allow only one person per profession. So there's only one person in a particular profession in our group. That's an obvious one. But I think truly the biggest difference is the culture issue. That our culture as an organization is predicated on this idea of giver's gain, that it only works if I help you. I think when it's done right, that the sum of the whole is greater than the individual parts. That when you get 30 people together whose goal is to work with one another, to help one another, to collaborate together, they're going to be much more successful. I have people who say to me all the time, this networking thing you do is very American. It's very American. This is the least American thing I have ever done in my life. Think about it. When you think of American business, do you think of cooperation, collaboration, giver's gain? Let me help you, you help me. No. In university, I was taught, put that guy out of business. It's competition, dog eat dog. No, what we teach in BNI, and I think one of the things that makes us different, is this: we want to change the way the world does business. We want to do it through collaboration and cooperation.
That's great. Well, Ivan, thank you so much, and congratulations for the work that you and your wife are doing.
Thank you.
It was great having you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I hope you learn a lot from this incredible content in the interview, and see you in the next one. Thank you.